Awesome. We are live. We are live, and this is another episode of Face It and Fix It Women's episode. This month, our topic for the month is abuse is not a choice. So I want you to start tuning in, and I want you to start telling your friends, your families, and every single person that you know could benefit from this segment to start joining us. And as you join, you will let me know where are you tuning from. My name is Lucia Carrera Jones. I am one of the co-founders and CEO of Women on Media and Education Network. So I am seeing you start to come in, and let me just check on my next device. As you know, it's customary of me doing to make sure that we are in the right place at the right time, and I could see who is with us. So welcome. Let's have Facebook doing what Facebook have actually to do, and it is notify you. I want you to start notifying your friends. I want you to start notifying your family. I want you to start notifying every female and also males, because face it and fix it. It's not a feminist episode. We are catering for every single one of you. I am seeing you, but you have to tell me where are you tuning from, so I will be able to actually say hi to you. And this is Face It and Fix It Women's episode with the theme Abuse is Not My Choice. So let me see who we have. Let me see here. I am seeing who we have here. We are live. Let me see. Start coming in. Awesome. I am seeing you. Let me know where are you tuning from. My name is Lucia Carrera Jones. I am bringing this awesome segment to you all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago. And without any further ado, let me tell you, uh, this month, the month of March. Oh yes, we have some awesome ladies. Hi, Shale Phillips is with us. We also have our women team. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Tonight, I promise you, you will not regret having here, because we have with us someone that is, oh my God, more ladies are coming. Awesome. We have hello, Olmaris, tell us where are you tuning from. And we also have hi, Fatima Bach Khan. She's tuning from Trinidad and Tobago. Awesome. So this is an international platform. So feel free to actually invite your international friends. And I want to just get straight onto matters. Yes, Omaris is tuning all the way here, right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And this topic today is a topic that is very dear to my heart as a woman, with a history and a testimony of being part of abusive relationship, right? It's really a very strong topic to me, very sensitive as well. And we want to give you all what you deserved, right? And all what you desire to know, right? A lot of things that we don't know, we have access to. And for that, tonight, we have someone that I would have met very recently. But let me tell you something. This lady, which is an attorney at law, so she's more than qualified to speak to us about this topic tonight. I was actually invited to a clinic hosted by students of the Wooden Law of school. And when was the time for this awesome lady to take that stage? I say, we need her to address the women of the nations. We need her in our segment, Face It and Fix It. Let me tell you a little bit about Donielle, right? Donielle A. Jones, and it looked like we are basically family, right? She's an attorney at law who was called to the bars in Trinidad and Tobago in October 2008. She has a very well-rounded practice and specialized in criminal law, family law, and civil litigation. Without any further ado, I want she to tell you a little more about her, and we have with us Donielle. Welcome, Donielle. You could open your mic at this time, and we want to hear a little more about you on your own words.
Hi, thanks for having me. Well, what I do is an attorney at law. That's what I do. But there are a lot of other things, characteristics that come with who Donielle is. I hail from the Southland of Trinidad and Tobago. Penal, big up the Penalians who are online. I love the fact that I'm from South, the hospitality, the friendliness, and the charisma that comes with it. I am very active. I like outdoor activities, hiking, running, cycling, the regular things. And then I just like to be a person who speaks on someone's behalf. So being an attorney just came with the fact that I was doing that long before I actually knew I was an advocate. So that's a little bit about me.
Oh my God, that is so sweet, so nice, because sometimes maybe people will think that an attorney is just this person who come in and they don't have a life outside of, judging people and defending people and things like that. But it is so awesome and so amazing, and have a female attorney with us. So we want to get straight into matters. And the first thing that I want you to explain to us in terms, the topic is abuse is not my choice. Speaking about abuse and speaking about gender-based violence, people might think when you talk about abuse that is just pertaining to women, right? Is abuse also applied to men? Are men abused?
Yes, and that's the fact that even though this is a platform that deals with mainly women, they have to be involved in it because they will be raising a female child at a point in time, and abuse doesn't pick a gender or a sex or a category of what class you are, whether you're middle class, you're lower class. Abuse happens to anyone at any point in time, any socioeconomic background. It just happens, right? Because we have perpetrators that walk among us and they will attack and cause harm to persons.
Awesome. That is one of the things that a lot of people do not recognize, that it's not only females are victim of abuse, but also males. And sticking to the topic of abuse, I want you to tell us a little bit more about what is really abuse, because when we're thinking about abuse, we're just thinking about the physical, you hit me, I hit you, we have a fight, a physical fight. Tell us a little more about what is abuse and if there's any other type of abuse besides physical abuse.
Yes, so abuse takes many forms. It could be physical, that you are punched, cuffed, dragged, or even the act of you just person making a fist but not coming into contact with you. That's physical abuse because they place you in apprehension and you were intimidated by their action, causing you to be fearful for yourself and for your person.
Even if
There's
they don't touch you yet.
Even if they don't touch it, it is like a gun. Somebody takes out a gun, points it in your direction. You're not sure if it's a loaded gun, but the fact that someone pointed a gun at you, you will be afraid. If someone mashes up things around you, say for instance, you're having an argument with your significant other, and he mashes or she mash up the door or crash the car. You understand? But you haven't been physically harmed, but they are showing you what they can do to you, and that causes you to suffer some form of intimidation. There's also financial abuse. So, financial abuse is you are not allowed to work. If it is you are working, another instance could be that when you get your income, they demand that you hand over your card or you withdraw your salary and bring it and give it to them. It could be another way that I am a stay at home mom or a stay at home dad, and I say, well, I think that I've had enough of this stay at home and I want to go out and get a job. And they say, no, no, no. Your place is in the home. You can't go and look for work now, right? Or their partners who prevent you from accessing the family resources. So all the time you had the credit card, you had a bank card, you're going everything, you're buying, you're shopping, whatever. And then a day they get vexed at you and say, give me back the card. And they know that you don't have any independent financial resources. So that is also financial abuse. So then there's emotional and psychological abuse. So that they tell you you're good for nothing. Nobody go want you when I finish with you. You so dumb, you can't go and get a job. Who really wants you as a partner? Right? So it works on your psyche, and then you start to believe that you are less than, you're less of a person, and it has you in a place where you are depressed. And so, and of course, well, verbal abuse, the cursing, the threatening words, the insulting words, because it's not necessarily the cursing and I go kill you and those threatening language. If it is someone tells you, hey, you slut, you see you're a waste of time, man. And that person tells you that every single day and gives you that every single day, it affects you, right? So those are some of the instances of the abuse that is covered in gender-based violence.
Wow, and these have been so insightful even for me. I was aware of some of them, but you have really break it down even more. I didn't even know that, or the attempt or trying, even if they don't touch you, that is also considered a physical abuse. And it is so amazing that we have so many in the audience already, and it is important, ladies and gents who are now watching us live, share this, because I believe that just like I started to benefit from this, a lot of you will actually benefit, and you will set somebody free tonight, right? You will set somebody free tonight, because I think not everybody think that preventing someone from going out to work is a form of abuse, and some of this form of abuse would be justified maybe based on um, um, belief backgrounds and other form of things, but you have to know when it's actually practicing abuse with the person.
Yeah.
So, and also I want that you that are there on the audience, that you ask us a lot of questions. Donielle, I've been following you, and I love the way that you are very bold and in making your statements even in social media and advising our persons. And few posts that I saw, I mean, somebody might think it's very controversial, but even coming from my personal experience, right? How do you think that people mindset could actually get them trapped into an abusive relationship, and they don't really know how to move away from that? Why do you think that these things happen?
Well, definitely people become victims of abuse for many varying reasons. Some because they come from a particular socio-economic background, so that they meet someone and that person financially stable and they start a relationship with them, depend on them, and slowly they start to take control of the situation, right? And there are times when you just going about your merry way, just chugging, and you just meet somebody, they love bomb you, and you really don't really get into the nitty gritty of what type of person the person is. And then when you think, well, she passing to drop lunch for me, or they calling me every 2 seconds, you think it's nice because nobody not checking up on you, and then you fall into a trap, right? And based on that, and then by the time you realize that this is not really a caring partner, it is really someone who is insecure, someone who wants to control. It is too late. And if you don't have the necessary family support or network of friends and close friends and relatives, you remain there. And worse yet, if you come from a particular religious background, right? Because when that happens, there are many reasons. I know women who stay into relationships, and the men, because their partner, they don't want to go and get a divorce, because then they can't do their church duties, because you can't, a divorced person can't hold leadership position. The court, the church only deals with particular instances where your marriage will be annulled and considered, and that is only on adultery. But they not take into consideration the physical, emotional abuse. And I'm not saying all churches. I'm not saying all churches and all other religious organization. I'm not saying that at all, because of course we know that there are a number of leaders who don't believe in gender-based violence and would say, hey, that's enough. I think you need to leave for your own safety. But we are dealing with the ones that put you in a place that, to say you can't leave. So that the person is torn between serving their God and leaving an abuser. Right. And then when you have children, if you just, I have clients who may meet their partner and in short space of time they get pregnant. So they are trapped. And then again, your moral belief, if you're raised, you don't want to make a child out of wedlock and whatever, you're staying for the child, but don't stay for the child, because the child will be growing up in a toxic environment. It's best that you all separate and work out the issues other, maybe better parents and those kind of things. But there are a number of issues. And then loneliness is another thing. If you don't have anybody and then this person starts to give you certain attention, and then people had, like, if you have a history of failed relationship and then you come and you meet this person, you don't want to leave again, because again, I am a failure. And that is not only religious, meaning just general. All your other cousins and they married and their marriage going on for 20 years. You can't keep a stable relationship for 3 months. So those things work on your psyche, and there are many reasons why persons stay.
And they will get then trapped in what they call the cycle of the abuser. And I
Exactly.
really, one of the things that I also want you to tell us a little bit about is this cycle of the abuser, because um, it happened many times where, and this is one of the things that would have really impact me when you explain this so well in that particular clinic is a lot of people tend to condemn a person who stays in an abusive relationship, really not knowing how somebody just get trapped. It is easy to say, but pick up and go, leave, but you're not seeing this and happen. Why are some of the reasons that people stays in an abusive relationship and cannot really help it but stay? Why? And tell us a little more about this cycle of the abuser, how the abuser really work on our psyches.
Right. So the abuser tries to get the person to be dependent on them, right? And that could be in anything, whether emotionally dependent on them, whether financially dependent on them. They become dependent on the perpetrator. And once they have you at that point, they are in control, and then the abuse increases. It increases in many forms. And then when the person recognizes that I should get out, or they sometimes they don't even recognize it, maybe their relatives realize it and say, hey, you need to leave. The person is then torn for many reasons. If you are tied up financially, like mortgage, car loans, they don't if I leave, where am I going to stay? I could stay by my sister for 3 days. I could stay by my father for 2 weeks, but then after they start to watch your bad face, so then where you will go? Right back there. Not enough shelters for victims, and I would say victims at this stage, because this is at the initial stage of the abuse. But when they eventually get out, we call them survivors, right? So so that is it. So they make you dependent. If your finances all tied up with them, if it is you don't have proper family support, right? Worse yet, if you have children, because the child bawling, I want my daddy, I want my mommy, and you are torn, because even though he's a horrible partner or she's a horrible partner, the child has an independent relationship with that parent. So therefore, you have to navigate the child spending time. And guess what? The child, then they use the child as a pawn. I want you to tell me where your mother going, or I want to tell me if your father bring a woman there. So this poor little child is caught in the whole dynamics of carrying news, bringing news, and then they start to edit. and they try to not, I didn't see anything. Tell your father he and you didn't see nothing or whatever. Tell your mother, and that's how it happens, right? So the main issue that I've found that why victims stay is due to finances and when they have children, right? And because you could run for yourself, meaning a shelter for you, but when you're running with yourself for yourself and this child or children, it's very, very difficult because you as an adult could manage, but you have to have a safe place. And then it have the social workers and the probation officers who will come and say, ma'am, this one bedroom apartment ain't good enough, but they forget that you were running for your life. And this is where you end up in a one bedroom. This child needs to have his own bed. This child needs to have his own room. But you ran from a 3-story home to save your life. So the father has the better accommodation, the mother has the better accommodation. And they say, it's preferable for the child to stay because he has his own room and all these sorts of fanciness, right? But they're not looking at what caused you to be in this one bedroom apartment because that is what you could afford, right? So, and they're not looking at the emotional needs of the children because you have to look for the parent who could provide that. It have the parents who will when your mother leave or when your father is not good for nothing. But the cooking, the washing, the child going to school on time, he looking clean, whatever. But in the meantime, he's damaging the child's mind, or she's damaging the child's mind, or your mother taking a set of man. You understand? So social workers need to be realistic when they are doing these assessments because the act is clear. The act is clear, Domestic Violence Act, that's what I'm referring to, their inclusion orders. So if the woman run with the children or the man run with the children, you could put them back in the house and put out the other person, right? Because that's it. But no, they are very rare occasions they do this. They leave them and then say, oh, there's one bedroom apartment, not good enough. You understand? So those two are the main areas, what for me reasons why people remain in very toxic and abusive relationships. And then there's when you have one foot out the door and one foot still inside, one foot in the grade, one foot outside. That is when you decide you're leaving, but you really don't have a next place to go to. So then you will stay, break up for 6 months, and then next minutes you see them together. So when I was younger as a professional, I used to be upset. Like when my client come and tell me she going back with her partner who was abusing her, or he tell me he going back, and I feel like I wasted my time. But now that I have matured, I understand that they're going back because they want to be in this abusive relationship. The stakes are against them. So they'll go and they stay there for a time, and when the children old enough, then they leave because they can't afford to pay the rent. They're very dependent on the other person. So when you get out now, and after all of that, for those who actually get out and survive, you have a lot of repair to your mind to do. You have to then consider that even though, especially those with children, you are tied to that perpetrator for the rest of your life because of these little persons between you both, right? So, and I saw a comment from one of the persons, and it's true. Some of them are afraid because they say, how I will get an next partner. Afraid of loneliness. I remember I gave the example of when you're or everybody around you married, and then apparently having a happy marriage, and you there can't keep a stable relationship. 3 children, 3 different fathers, or 3 children, 3 different mother. And people look and see, she just now she gonna make a next child for her next man. Oh, he got impregnate the next woman. So all of that plays on your mind, and you say, I need that comfort of a partner, whether the partner good or the partner not good. I will, because just to say in a stable relationship. But when I behind closed doors, I am crying, I'm being abused, I'm not being my best self.
Wow, this is so mind blowing. And I just want to put some of the comments here and see how we could get with the audience here. I am seeing here, um, I just putting up the comments. Ajaya say all she's saying is on point, trapped by expectations. Awesome, awesome day. And then we have Shale saying, especially if they make you believe that you will not do
Ex-
better. I believe that
exactly.
they make you believe they are not going to do better without them. And she'll again say, and some women tell lies as well. Oh my God. And what somebody was talking about, this person is referring to sexual abuse of children by one partner who threatens the other partner. I don't know if you have ever come across to that. Somebody who is afraid to actually live a
Yeah,
relationship with
I
that.
have.
And oh my God, um, or somebody saying here, Jeron saying, good evening, Miss Jones, a fine advocate for justice. Yes, 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 yes. Somebody else healing you out here. Shade, hi, Donielle A. Jones, great, great job. And I actually feel the same way. You know, I tell you guys, when I met Donielle, I was part of the audience, right? And when I saw this lady, the passion that she actually, with the passion that she delivered, I realized that she's a strong advocate, not just for women, but also for men. She's all against abuse, and this is awesome. But chill, and Donielle, for me, you was talking about, and some people say loneliness and what's not, but in my humble opinion, I think that this is have to do also with the society, how the society have
Exactly.
put us in that state of mind, that frame of mind, and then you have to be strong enough to actually come out of that box and get a tough mindset. I said this because a lot of people asking me, they say, well, I'm a survivor. you know
Yes.
I am a survivor because I had a very traumatic marriage where I actually run for my life. I hide for my life. I also forgive the person on the name of my belief. I forgive the person. I did a lot of prayer, a lot of counseling, but bottom line was, for me, a thing wasn't really progressing, so I put my life first. I say I have to live for my family. I mean, I don't have no kids and what's not. I know it would have been an easier situation, but I think that everything is with mindset. And I want to ask you
Definitely.
then at this point, how do you think that we could implement different strategies to a society level? I don't know if it would be workshop, conversation, or programs like this, to actually start to break down those lies, in the name of whatever society, religion, or whatever the case may be. For individuals, male or female, to understand that you matters, right? And you don't have to stick with abuse. Abuse could never be a choice.
Yeah, we have to have those hard conversations, right? I am a survivor as well, thankfully for my family and my very good friends. I do, and like I say, I just end up in that, right? But to say that I'm always a good judge of character, but for some reason at that point in time, I didn't have that good judge of character, right? But it was more psychological and emotional abuse, not physical, right? Um, so so I would say that what needs to change is that your family need to look out for you, right? Your friends need to look out for you because sometimes you making a decision and that decision ain't good for you. But you ain't seeing that it's not good for you. But you have friends and family members who saying, I watching that person, they're dealing there very closely. I just watch it. You understand? And then, but my thing when in my work, every time, most times when I meet victims, at the time, because that's when they are the victim before they become the survivor, they don't have the support to help them out of the pit, to raise them out of the pit. And but then when you do meet those who have the support, it's like support out of this world. Like you must love your child or your sister or your brother or your cousin or your friend no matter what has happened. And the perpetrator, you know what they do? They try to tell your relatives that you are not good. You are a waste of time. You know what she do? You know what he do? And they try to bring over your relatives and your support system over on their side. And worse yet, if they have money, they buy them cash,
Wow.
right? But it have like my family, there no price tag with my family and my friends. So that, fortunately for me, but we need to do away with those myths. Like your girlfriend horn you or your child mother horn you. So I need to give her a good cut tail for she to learn how to be a good partner. Or my partner horn me, I'll go up in his work and tell them all kind of thing about him to make sure he loses work. You understand?
Mindset.
So that it don't matter if your child born make a child out of wedlock. Don't force them to marry to say, oh God, you get pregnant, you need to get married. You don't know you're signing the death sentence for your child. Forget that. Those archaic rules need to go. This is not about church and God. I'm saying morality. I believe in God, and so there are those who don't. But even belief in God causes abuse to an extent. And I often ask people, what would Jesus do? Somebody ponging you every day, beating you or treating you a particular way, and I must stay with that person, married, because the person didn't commit adultery to me? No, separate and deal with that another way. Because what will end up, we'll have someone dead or badly injured or very damaged human beings walking around here, right? So we need to, and the thing about it, when people say, you see, so by so, this happened, but that is not my business now. I minding my business, because guess what? When it come knocking at your door, or is your relative, or is your sister, or your brother, then you want everybody to run and help you. But
Yes.
no, you keep your mouth. You could intervene in a particular way, call the police quietly and say, that man this real get on, or that woman, I really don't want them to know. But do something, say something.
Before it's too late. And I believe that, you are fully right. I mean, tonight is not a testimony night, but I could tell you at the point of my life where I knew that this particular decision, I can't take it. But you know living in a society where you have very much pressure, and if you want to serve God in a capacity that be accepted, then you
Mm.
give in just for that. And the final result of that is a marriage that end up failing. So I want to take more here from the audience. We have Ria here. Ria Ellie say there are families who live in generations of abusive relationships. Grandmothers, mothers, and daughters live in the same type of relationship. And I am a very spiritual person as well, right? And I could tell
Mhm.
you that when you see this kind of pattern, you have to pray a lot. I could tell you, this little piece of testimony about myself and my dad. I mean, he loved us as her daughters. Nobody could have do us nothing as her daughters, but I saw a lot of abuse happening with my mother, and I remember at a very young age, I was already studying, and I say, I will never put up with no abuse. I will never put up with no abuse, and I work on me, on become this independent person that I am today. And when I talk about independence, sometimes people misunderstand. Independent is not that you don't want a man or a relationship.
Yeah,
Independent is
definitely.
that, like in my specific situation, I didn't have to stay because of financial constraints. I didn't have to stay because I didn't have a place to go. I was hiding for 2 months in a little room by a friend, right? But I was able to pay um, for where I was staying. I was able to stand on my feet. Of course, if you have children and what's on is different, but when you see this pattern repeating itself, you have to pray a lot, right? Because all of these things also could hang on you spiritually, right? So we have here Aisha saying we need to first be able to identify the various type of abuse and stand up to the abuser. Not many are sure how to identify abuse. We need more
Definitely.
awareness, and that is how we started up.
Yes.
That is why one of my first questions was, what is abuse? Because when we talk about abuse, you we only thinking somebody who actually hits you. But listen to me. From the time now I know that you try to raise your hands, I know already you is an abuser. You haven't
Yes.
touched me, but I know now you are an abuser. For the time that you are preventing me from having access to finances, so I know you're trying to isolate me. And I love it here. I saw a gentleman very active here in the conversation. I will find his comments again or look him here. And Olafemi said, be careful of the partners that try to isolate you from your family and friends. And let me tell you something, Donielle. This is one of the first signs, according to my experience, of
Yes.
somebody is trying to abuse you, not maybe not beating you up, but they want to control you, they want to manipulate you. And for when now the situation gets tough, you have nobody to talk to. You can turn to nobody because he have isolated you from a lot of people that could have helped you. And we saying here also, I'm seeing here, just trying to, Donielle A. Jones, you are a real and down to earth with the explanations. I appreciate your contributions, and so do we. Oh my God. And then we have here, Tiwana say, a rebuild with integrity, rebuild for a cause. That is Donielle.
I had
Awesome.
to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. I just see one more comments here. More comments here. Someone say grew up shelter, didn't know the signs. Well, but now you know, and now that you know, you could tell someone else as well. And let's say I have been in an abusive relationship, and I thank God I am now out. Well, thank God for you. You are a survivor, so you have to also raise your voice and save a sister. And then we have Tiwana, who have been very active, say through prayer I got the strength. I lifted my head and the game changed. And that is why I say, we have to be there for each other, right? And we have to take a stand for each other. And that is why it was so important for Women on Media and Education Network to bring out this point. We are living in times, Donielle, and I don't know if you will agree with me, that we more than ever need someone that could lift us up, right?
Definitely.
And we have here Anissa saying one of the best, if not the best attorney I've known. Yes,
Believe so.
I agree. I agree. I also agree. And I really appreciate how all of these persons, have been here and come to support. Um, yes, have come to support this topic, right? Abuse could never be a choice. Call
Mm-mm.
someone, go to someone. I mean, you have Donielle right now here. You could find Donielle. She's very active on Facebook. And Donielle, what I want to do, if anybody in the audience would like to get in touch with Donielle for advice and what's not, I know you, Donielle, do a lot of charity work as well. I want you to tell us a little bit more about the things that you do, how you could actually help someone that is in need of this advice, assistance, or representation.
Okay, so there are a number of organizations survivors can go for assistance. There's the Coalition Against Domestic Violence. There's WINAD, which deals with migrant women and men. There's also I work with KAISO, which is hold with their wholeness and justice program, but they cater for the LGBTQIA community because they too suffer abuse in intimate relationship, whether you're religious or you're not religious, it is a fact. So persons suffer abuse no matter what, and it doesn't matter what type of relationship it is. If that person wants to get out, they're entitled to get out and away from the abuser. I also, well, I used to do work with Womantra. They had a legal clinic specifically for gender-based violence. Um, we actually established a really good networking system. Unfortunately, the clinic is closed due to unforeseen circumstances. However, they still continue in their activism. So you could reach out. There are a number of places you can go. There's the Legal Aid Advisory Authority everywhere. They should go on as their port, their sport is paying for those who really need an attorney who they can't afford the full service, but you are because legal aid to get it fully free, you have to be of a certain means. But there's a Hewiden legal clinic. You can go there for assistance with your matters. You could reach out to the gender-based violence unit of the TTPS. They are excellent officers who will guide you along the way because domestic violence could affect anyone and anyone, right? So that we really need to help survivors. I want to specifically address men who suffer domestic violence in the Caribbean. Being masculine is a big thing. So when you go to the station, sometimes you may meet an unprofessional officer who will say, what are you doing here? You know what kind of man you is? That's why you come to report the woman hit you. But I don't want you to take actions into your own hands. Abuse is abuse. Go and report it. And guess what? Take down that officer's badge number who made fun of you and ask to speak to the senior officer. The gender-based violence unit doesn't operate outside of all the station, but they are divisional offices. Get to know those offices, get to know the numbers. There's also an emergency domestic violence response with the judiciary, which was launched during the pandemic, 866 DVCT. Reach out, and if it is you want to get a protection order, you could apply through email or telephone. Right, so there are a number of places that you can get assistance, and persons are really willing and able to assist survivors.
Yes, and I have in that regard, I have a question. Someone asking here, Anelia, how can I get in touch with the Hookwood Wooden Law School because I need an attorney for my matter? So I believe, Miss Chance, you could send us maybe your number, send us an email at womentt 2022 at gmail.com, and we'll try to either put you in touch with Donielle to channel your petition, right?
Or
So
they could Google it. Once you Google Hewiden Law School, their numbers are available there. I don't mind assisting. I'm not attached to law school, nor am I making any advertisement on behalf
right,
of the law
no,
school.
but it's
But
good.
it's there, right?
It's good, and we have, I mean, we have a very good relationship with them as well, with
Yes.
the clinic. That's how I would have met you, because they would have
Yes.
hosted that
They
event.
do really good work.
Yeah, yeah, and then we have here someone saying, Jaja saying, Donielle, this was a strong opening. It comes from the huge heart of yours. We need this, and I strongly believe, Donielle, that we have so much work to do with this topic. I mean, for us was a way to actually open the trench, right? But I believe that we need more of these topics. A lot of people don't have enough information. We need this. I think this needs a big awareness campaign, because a lot of females and males as well are actually being abused, and they don't even know that they are abused, right?
Yes.
Because they don't know type of abuse. You was mentioning that if somebody is enjoying what they have with you because they marriage, and all of the setting, you say, well, you're not longer gonna use the vehicle, so they're preventing you from moving, from going to work, to maybe, this is also abuse. Financial, well, we know about that a little more, and that is why one of the things, one of the missions, is in our mission, women, is to empower females, to become self-sustained. I always say, and I agree with you, I fully agree with you, that one of the main reasons why a female stays in an unhealthy relationship, in an abusive relationship, is because they don't have the aims, the means to actually sustain themselves.
I
And we
want to
get
touch
into
I want
touch
to
it.
touch on what you said there, right? Because it's a sore topic of mine. Yes, I agree that the survivor should get independent skills so they'll be able to provide for yourself and so forth and your children. But let's look at it from another angle. So I am married. I have always been a stay-at-home mom, right? So even though I have my 8 CXC passes and my 3 A level passes and a degree that I once used to use, when I got married, I stayed at home and took care of the 3 children, dropped them, picked them up, homework, all the thing, PTA meeting, extracurricular, everything, organizing birthday party and whatever. And your partner is free to do whatever he has to do or she has to do because they're not there. It's taken care of. Then the relationship comes to an end. You will ask her when she has been out of formal employment for 10 to 15 years. So ask him, he has been out of formal employment 10, 15 years, and then tell them, well, you had to go and get a job. How is that fair? How are we not considering the non-financial contributions that this person has made to the family and direct the partner who is the income earner, breadwinner, who has always been, direct them to pay the maintenance that you were maintaining them all the time? So I'm not telling them to do it indefinitely. And then give the person the option, the survivor, the option to say, well, ma'am or sir, what it is you want to do? You want to go back to work in the bank, or you want to go and further your education and do a degree or associate or whatever in order to achieve a particular job? What it is you're interested in? You want to open your own little business, but don't just tell them that the relationship end and you must find a work. That is crazy. I just every time I am shocked. Every time I go to court and I hear something. So what about the years that that person has contributed selflessly, which allow your partner to be the success that society has them down as? I have a huge problem with that. And you there, child balling in your head, you think the child getting all A's in a projects on point in a child in brownie karate and you're driving all over the place. You don't have no time for yourself. It is unfair
Yeah.
when the courts and judicial officers don't understand that you just uttering those words, get a work, put it places that victim survivor in distress
Yes.
because this person has been out of employment for 10 to 15 years. So we need, and when social workers tell you, well, you have to get a bigger place, like when mediators allow abuse in a mediation session, I have issues with that. You all are the mediators. We have been sent to mediation to come up with a working plan for our family. We have broken up. Let's see how we could come up with a good parenting plan. And at the mediation session, he uses or she uses that opportunity to further abuse the survivor in the presence of the mediator. And guess what? Not all mediators, so don't come from me. Those that don't manage their mediation to say that there should be respect. That should stop. Those social workers who afraid to write on a paper that the father tell you he going to kidnap the children and go to another country, or the mother say I'm going to take the children and jump the country. I want you to put that in your probation officer's report and put it in your social and your when someone co-parenting, you come to co-parenting meeting, the party supposed to, well, this is how I don't have no certification in mediation or co-parenting counseling, but I think if we are coming up with a plan, you have to bring your ideas and you bring your ideas. Daddy, where's your ideas? Mommy, where's your ideas? Let's put it together. Daddy, what do you think of mommy's A? Mommy, what do you think of daddy's A? Do you agree or disagree? But you have people come into these sessions with no proposals. and then go to the party that bring proposal to say, well, he or she say no, so it go had to be for the judge. But you don't write in your memo that the party refused to participate, because guess what? They tell their lawyer, just for aesthetic reasons, I want to go to mediation. Or they tell them, the lawyer tell them, let it go to co-parenting counseling, it go look good. But when they actually reach, they have no intention to really sit down and work out nothing. And it is an exercise in futility and wasting resources. Right? So that, and then the court will say, well, the parties don't want to come up with a plan, but it had somebody who never bring a proposal to the table. So I have problems with those things. You can't expect somebody after 10 to 15 years to just get a work. And then you're not even thinking about the children. If a child always accustomed coming home, mommy or daddy picking you up, drop me up, do your homework, whatever. When mommy or daddy really gone out to work now, you have to get a babysitter at daycare. The same little pittance that you work for is the same little pittance that to go to pay the daycare. So let's think about it. Let's give the parent, let the one who making all the money, pay to the parent proper maintenance so that it could really go to the child and understand that this child has grown to a particular standard of having a parent around, and then they want to know why the child dropped from an A to a D. Because nobody daycare lady not going to do schoolwork with them. And the daycare lady don't have that bond to do projects with them. So come on. So I know it's a touchy topic, but I just like to
But I love it. And that is what, that is what this segment is about. Face it. We have to face it so that we will be able to fix it. If we don't know better, if we don't know it at all, or if we know it and we don't act properly, as you say, those persons who have to do such and such and such, come up with such and such and such, nothing is going to happen. And that is what this segment is about. Face it, then you will be able to fix it. So I want to go back to some of these comments. Oh my God. And this is what we love. We have here, I say, love the passion, be real and raw. That is it. Real and raw. And then we have Anita say, I fully agreed. We have Sunil that say, I agree 100. Things are left out. And then we go to, here we have some awesome comments. Asha said the laws needs to be amended. So maybe we have to do some kind of activism for the laws to be amended.
No, but I disagree too with respect to the amendment, because the laws are there. The laws are there. It is the
Feel.
application of the laws and people's understanding of the law. Okay, let me give you this instance. A child, parents broke up, a child is suspected of having challenges in development. The only person who could determine the child if the child has developmental issues is an expert, a doctor or whatever, right? To assess the child. The court ordered the assessment and the parties agreed to share the costs equally. Because of course the court need this order to determine, because the family or law act says maintenance is determined on the child, the income of the parties, the needs of the minor child, and the responsibility parents has. So if the parents have loans, other children, all these sort of things. Yet when it's time that they get a call for the expert to pay the half, one party is saying, I'm not paying it, but there's a court order saying that you have to pay it. Yep. But my child not has no developmental issues. Daddy, are you a doctor? No, you are not. Are you certified to determine that? No, you are not. So therefore, those things, they need to deal with that. So I didn't, and the law says also that if a child is accustomed, so when the parents were together, and this is also case law, as well as written judgments, as well as the actual legislation, right? So if the manner in which the child is to be educated, that is what is said in the Family Law Act. So my parents together, I go into prep school. My parents separate, the parents say, I'm not paying for that. Take them out and send them government school. And what I'm saying is not that the party is saying I'm not paying it because I can no longer afford it. That's something different. But I'm not paying it because I'm being spiteful. And that is where in the court supposed to look at what school the child went normally. Again, I went government school, so I'm not saying anything about prep schools, okay? What school the child was going to, and then decide that whether that should continue. Because remember, things affects children. When the older child get, they can't make friends as easily. Very few children could be past 10 and they can make friends at the drop of a hat. A younger child is able to do that at the drop of a hat. And the older they get, they lose that skill. And that's why when you take a child out from one school and put them in another school, socially, sometimes it's socially awkward for the child, right? So taking a child from a prep environment, not because you can't pay, but just because you want to be spiteful, and throwing them into a regular private school, a little rough for them. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that some children can't adjust, but remember the case is based on the child that is in the present matter, not about all the other children who survive. And it's not about well, and you know the next thing, I'll come into that just now. My It is based on the parents and the child. It's not about my friend man is an engineer, the mother is also an engineer, and the child in karate, water polo, and whatever. Your man is a waka man. I'm not saying that waka man and thing can't afford that, but your eye can't be long or rest your hat where you can't reach it. And you want to join the child in all the co-curricular program, and the father must pay half for everything. That is impossible. Right? So those things, is really based on a case, and you really supposed to look at what is the income in the family and determine is the what amount of maintenance should be for a child, because the basic needs have to be met: the food, clothing, shelter, uniform, books, and so the other little trims of traveling abroad and those fanciness, it comes if the person is able to afford it comfortably.
And someone said, this session is so real. OMG. Yes, Kenya, very, very much agree with you. And this is what Face It and Fix It is about. We are real. We are raw. And yeah, and then we have here, shall I say, love the passion, be real and raw. Yes, yes, yes. And I love also, let me put back all of me. Say maintenance still won't give them the lifestyle they was accustomed to, and that is, that could
Agreed.
become a little traumatic as well. But Donielle, before we close, I mean, we have so much still on this topic, but time is on us and we don't want to leave nothing hanging. Before we close, we want, as you as the expert, right, to give our audience three advice, just three simple advice, three tips, three do it now, where they could actually recognize abuse and get away from that, move away. What is in your practice, in your experience, in what is possible from what you have, what you have say? Give us three tips.
Um, Firstly, I would say your gut feeling will tell you whether it's good or it's bad. And don't deny that feeling. Don't try to quiet it. If you are in a relationship and you feel that feeling, as Shadow say, feeling, I want you to write it down. If they say something that you're not comfortable with and it hurts your feelings, write that down. Record keeping. So that's one thing. Your gut feeling, follow your gut feeling. Two, record keeping is key. Don't let your smartphone be smarter than you. You get a lash, he lash you or she lash you, take a picture, email it to yourself and save it. Even if you don't want to make a police report. I telling you to make a police report, but plenty of people don't take my advice, right? And a police report don't mean that the person going to get locked up and all. They might never be together again. And take it is really sometimes it's to manage the relationship. Because I have had survivors who were in an abusive relationship and then eventually with the assistance of the court and the police, they got married, went on to have children, and they lived their life, right? Because remember, sometimes a perpetrator is raised by another perpetrator, or a perpetrator is raised by someone who didn't train them properly. So they don't know that their actions is abusive. And I want you all to, and the third thing is, speak to your children about abuse because
Yes.
I find it have too many adults walking around here and they don't know what abuse is. And that's because in your formative years, no one ever told you that that was abusive. Stop telling children, your uncle reach, go and give him a hug. If your child don't want to give the uncle a hug, I'm not saying that uncle on anything. All I'm saying it is okay if a child don't want to give their uncle a hug or their aunt a kiss. It's fine. With that Caribbean culture, you need to stop it. You need to know your personal space, right? We need to get rid of those, like re-socialize our minds so that you will understand. So that because you train your children in a particular way, they will be able to identify abuse, right? And for me, I could safely say that um, with my uncles and aunts on both sides, mommy and daddy, my uncles and we don't hug. If I don't feel to hug them and I feel to hug them, I hug them. If I don't feel to hug, and it was never an issue. You don't want to talk to me, no uncle. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. So that I never felt guilty into, oh God, your uncle wants a hug and he feel bad and I want to give him a hug, right? So that when you train them like that in their little circle, when they go out into the world, they will know to say, hey, this is my personal space here.
Yes.
Don't come into it. Or don't speak to me like that. I will come for you and I will call my whole squad to come for you too. Those are my 3 tips.
And we love it. We love it. We have here, oh my God, we have Tiwan and say, thank you, Donielle, for your contribution and advice. May God continue to bless you, to bless and guide you. Oh my God, we have Anelia say, well said, thank you. And we have Shad say, totally agreed. We have this awesome gentleman, Olafemi Saunders. He's uploading. And then he also say here, well done, well done. He's saying, well done, D. And then we have, oh my God, so many people. We have Catherine say, love it, Donielle. And then we have Denise, which is to say, yes. And then we have John White, Miss John Ruff, love she too bad. Oh my God. It's one love we say. And we have Joseph, well done, Donielle. And Donielle, on behalf of Women on Media and Education Network, we cannot thank you enough for bringing this eye-opening to us tonight. I know that many eyes have been opened right on the spot, and many eyes will be continue being open because this life is right there in our platform. I want that every single one of you share this life because somebody else who missed out today, right, have to listen to this again. For sure I will. Then we have Keisha James say it was very, very informative, one of the best human being in the world. I love you, Miss Donielle Jones. We thank you for sharing your information. Oh my God, I can't put all the comments, but I don't want to miss nothing. It said thank you. Thank you to this powerful lady. This was awesome. She's a real gangster, or in a good way, in a good way. So we have Jennifer say, I think society is more tolerant of abuse against boys and men. You girls she'll protect, but not boys. It's a big joke with men, especially sexual abuse.
I
Oh
agree.
God. Yes. So we come to the end of this episode, but not to the end of this topic. We, for sure, Daniel, we have to get you back. And our organization will make sure that we could do these topics even in a different forum, right? And bring you to bring awareness, because this have been life changing. I particularly have learned a lot, things that I didn't know, and also you give me a perspective different from my personal situation, because something that I would have analyzed just thinking about on my personal situation, how I was able to escape the abuse, because of less constraint that other people. Um, it's really an eye opening. So I want to say thank you on behalf of women, on behalf of this audience. We thank you, we love you, and Donielle, we want you back. So enjoy the rest of the night. You guys go ahead, share this live, tell everybody. And if you want to get in touch with Donielle, just reach out to us via messenger in our social media. We also are on Instagram. Find us, and we are going to make sure to connect you with this warrior, Donielle A. Jones. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.